Around 6 o'clock, Tuesday, Monday. Yeah.
Area where you thought you'd be picked?
Well, I heard from my agent it would be around the 4 to 7 range. Then he also made it very clear that, you know, it could be 4, it could be 7, it could be 5, it could be 8, it could be 10. So like it was just more of a range for reference. Obviously, no one knowing how the draft was going to play out. But going into it, kind of having an idea, but also, you just, you have fear of falling or, things don't go out as planned. And that was also a thought in the back of my mind. But I'm just very happy that it turned out the way that it did. And I couldn't be more excited.
Next question comes from Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, congrats, man. So how'd it play out? Who were you with? How'd you get the call? And how'd you learn you were a Brave?
So I guess just walking you through it. So I'm with me, my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend flew up, which is really cool. And I guess like while watching, I was a tick delayed. So I, within that, there was like a 10-minute break in between. So I went outside, I grabbed some air because I was a little anxious about what was happening. Get a call from my agent. He's talking about, the Baltimore Orioles are coming up with this slot and would you take it? I'm like, yes, I would take it. And then all of a sudden the Orioles, they passed. And then I get another call from an area scout for the Braves. And he says, Justin, what's your number? And I gave him X number. He said, okay, like, let's see if we can get this done. Then all of a sudden their pick is up. And it's funny, like I was saying, it was delayed. And my phone starts blowing up before I even knew what had even happened. So like my parents are just sitting there. They're like, the Atlanta Braves have the next selection. And I'm just telling them, I'm like, I'm picked. And my parents are like, how do you know? They didn't say anything. And that's how we found out that I was behind on MLB.com. But it was pretty cool. Wouldn't change that experience for the world. It was just weird how it happened, but it was unique. I'm happy. And it was just an awesome moment.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, Justin, does it make it any more special that it's the Braves, just having spent all this time in Atlanta the last few years for you?
1,000%. 1,000%. I mean, if you were to tell me, what teams, in your wildest dreams would you want to go to? obviously the child in me would say the New York Yankees because I've been a Yankee fan for as long as I can remember. And then obviously the next team after that, or not even after that, just like with it, I would say the Atlanta Braves, just because, I grew up to love the city of Atlanta now. I spent 1 year there, and, I would love to go back there and train at Georgia Tech in the off season and, still have my relationship with my teammates this past year. And I just think it's just such a blessing that, the relationships that I have built down there get to really, keep going, and I don't have to go somewhere, different, obviously in pro ball, wherever I'm stationed. But I think it's just nice, like in the off season, I'd be able to call Atlanta home and, still be able to build more relationships in a city that I really do enjoy.
Next question comes from Patience Beach. Go ahead, Patience.
Hey, Justin, in your one season at Georgia Tech, what coaching did you receive that will help you as you transition to the next level?
The coaching that I received was just pro style, which I think is the best type of coaching. I mean, all of our practices were very pro style, very individual to the player. And I think that's just going to be able to help me in the next chapter. Coach Hall has had, tons of experience with guys who move on, and he knows exactly what to do and what not to do and how to, get guys better. And he's done that. And him, Rammer, Z, Ren, all those guys, everyone, I just really couldn't thank them enough. And they really prepped me for the next chapter. So I'm totally excited.
Do another question from Zach Klein.
Yeah, so how does it work? Are you for sure gone? I mean, you guys reach a number, you tell them, and then it's kind of like a gentleman's agreement. And you offer me X, I agree, and then you're not coming back to Tech. Is basically the short question.
I want to start my professional career. We haven't talked, numbers. Honestly, numbers is not my thing. I just like playing baseball. But my agent, he's doing all that stuff behind the scenes, and we haven't gotten anything yet, but kind of, I guess it's kind of a gentleman's agreement. But I mean, I want to be an Atlanta Brave. I want to start it off. I'm excited to go. And I'm just a really happy guy right now.
Why do you feel you're ready?
I feel that I'm ready because of the experiences that I've had that have kind of built me for this moment. Coming in my freshman year, I guess kind of walking you through my career, going into a big time program and being a big fish in a little pond, and then going into being a big fish in a big pond, and, just kind of having to wait my turn and being able to just learn from those guys in that program. Sophomore year, obviously cut due to COVID, but being able to just truly value the game and value playing time and just knowing how to just, keep my head down and just keep on working and just, stay in the cage and take your ground balls and do what you need to do to just get better so that the team can get better. I think that's definitely prepped me to go to the next level, because I know exactly what I need to do in order to succeed. And I think Tech gave me every opportunity to succeed. And I cannot thank Coach Hall, Rammer, and the entire staff, but they gave me all of the tools and the confidence to succeed wherever I go next.
Another question now from Kelly Quinlan.
I was just curious, can you lay out kind of what the next few weeks or months look like in terms of what the process is and assuming you sign?
Honestly, as much as I do. I seriously have zero clue. It's funny, me and Waddell were put in a group chat with, I guess, the scout that drafted us. We just had to answer a couple questions and, bada bing, bada boom, whatever, but we haven't found out where exactly we go first. I have no idea. I couldn't even give you a solid answer. I have zero clue on where I'm going, when I'm going, what happens. I'm super new to this, so.
We'll do a question now from Miles Garrett. Go ahead, Miles.
Hey man, congratulations. I had a question regarding how excited you are to play with Luke and what the contact was like on draft night. You guys sort of going back to back like that.
That was so cool. I mean, I just know, like, the moment he was drafted, my family jumped up as if I was drafted, and they just thought that was so cool that Wad got to, gets to stay home, gets to stay in Atlanta. And then, 30 picks later, here I am just, and now, it's like we are teammates again. And I just think it's such a nice feeling. I mean, I texted him right when he got drafted. He texted me right when I got drafted. And I think it's going to be really beneficial that I'm going to, be seeing a familiar face, and, and I really enjoy playing with Wadd, and I'm happy that, hopefully we can play again together.
Do a question now from Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, Justin, after you got the news, who were some of the people that you first heard from?
God,
As
so
far
I
as
mean,
former teammates or coaches, that type of thing.
I mean, I've never seen my phone blow up as fast as it did. I mean, Zach Maxwell, Jake DeLeo, Colin Hall, Andy Archer. I mean, everybody on the team was just so excited for it to happen, and it just shows the type of bond that we had, and the type of bond that we created. And just to see their excitement for me, it was just something I can't really describe. I immediately called Coach Hall. Obviously his phone is blowing up as well, so he was using someone else's phone to get phone calls, so I had to call him, talk to him for a little bit. I called Coach Rammer, and I just wanted to thank them so much for the opportunity and the opportunities they gave me, and just giving me a second chance.
Question now from Ken Segura. Go ahead, Ken. Ken, you may be muted.
Not bad. Been a while. Do you have a sense of where they want you to play? Do you know for sure it'll be third base, or could it be somewhere else?
I've gotten the sense that I'm playing third base, but at the same time, I really don't care. I'm an athlete. I'm a guy that, has zero problem going to any position on the field. I played some second base at Tech. I have zero problem going into the outfield. They drafted an athlete. They didn't just draft a third baseman. They drafted an athlete that's, optimistic about playing baseball and really doesn't care, where he plays in the field. I really do not. And I think that just adds a little bit more value. And I think it makes the game a little bit more fun that, I could just go out and just go play.
Question now from Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, did you remember the scout's name, the area scout for the Braves?
Chris Lionetti.
Chris Lionetti. And did you have any conversations with Chris Lionetti about, landing? Did you ever think it was a possibility?
Yes. So actually, this is, going all the way back into winter break, right before the season. It was my first Zoom call with an MLB club, and my family was just stoked about it. Just listening in, and it's the Braves, and coming to find out that Mr. Lionetti he's a Jersey guy, which I think is pretty cool. So we have that connection, and this relationship goes way back, I guess, months ago. And I just think it's pretty cool how it all just kind of tied together, and how it happened.
Got time for one or two more, beginning with another one from Patience. Go ahead.
Hey, Justin, this is a simple question, but what would you say was your most memorable game on the flats?
Most memorable game on the flats would definitely be the walk-off homer against Clemson. UGA is obviously right there, but I think that game was pretty special just because it was Mother's Day weekend, and my parents actually flew in that weekend. And it was pretty cool that I was able to get the ball immediately, and I gave it to my mom for Mother's Day. So I think that was pretty cool.
Anything else for Justin Henry? All right, Justin Henry, you're good and gone, but thanks so much, brother.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and we're actually going to go right to Luke. He's in the waiting room and should be ready for us. So we won't take a break here. Luke, you got us?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, everybody, with no wait in between, we'll go straight to the fifth round selection from the Atlanta Braves, junior Luke Waddell. And once again, we'll open it right up for questions, beginning with Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Luke, congrats, man. Just walk me through the night. How'd you find out you were headed to Atlanta?
Thanks. Yeah. I was just kind of sitting on the couch watching TV, following the draft on my computer and phone. Had gotten some calls from a couple teams, handful here and there, but nothing really concrete. And I actually didn't hear anything from the Braves or anything like that. But then my agent calls me and says, "Hey, you might want to turn it on your TV. You're going to go here in like 3 picks. So just wanted to let you know real quick." So my dad was working at home. I yelled at him to come in the living room, and me and my mom and my dad all just sat there and watched it. And it was pretty, I mean, obviously very exciting, unreal kind of experience. But I mean, yeah, that was basically it. Kind of all of a sudden, hey, Braves are about to take you here in the 5th round. So it was really cool.
The world stopped. Do you remember the moment? I mean, from playing Little League Baseball to hearing your name drafted, I mean, that moment just surreal, no?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like the whole day I was sitting there, with my phone, and I get phone calls or texts and my heart would start racing because you really have no idea what's going on or who's going to take you. So, I mean, I think in a way it was kind of good for me that it was all of a sudden. I didn't have time to, think about it. It was just like one kind of awesome moment there, just at my living room at home. So, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was kind of going crazy there, and then all these people reach out and congratulate me. So it was really just a really cool afternoon and evening for me and my family. So
Next question comes from Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, Luke, congratulations. It used to be when you talked about players that were in their last year of eligibility, they used to say you don't have any leverage at all. It must make you feel pretty good that the Braves thought enough of you to pick you when they did.
yeah, I mean, for sure. I think my advisors have done a great job. And, obviously last year missing out on that junior year draft, a lot of people thought, that was kind of, not so good. But I mean, it's all worked out for me. I got to go back to school and have a great year. I got to graduate, walk at graduation, which was awesome. And then I end up getting picked by a great organization like the Braves. So, I mean, it really worked out. I mean, obviously last year was a little disappointing and stuff like that with the whole draft, but I mean, I really can't complain about it. I mean, this last year was awesome for me, and now I can get started with a great organization with the Braves and, see where this takes me. So I'm just really excited to get going, and it's so cool that the Braves ended up picking me. So I'm really excited for that.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan. Go ahead, Kelly.
Is it kind of fun? I imagine over the last 4 years, you've had a chance to kind of follow the Braves organization with it being in your backyard and all that, to have that opportunity. And is there, are there people that in that organization already? And kind of how fun is that you get to maybe play in the ATL again at some point?
Yeah, like being from Cincinnati, it's so easy to follow the Reds here, but like personally, it's really like all my good friends down there, all my best friends now are Braves fans. So whenever we're all talking baseball, everyone for the last 4 years just talks Braves. So I've really, really enjoyed kind of, making them my new kind of hometown team. So it was really cool being able to get picked by them. And I know a couple guys in their organization. One of the kids reached out, named Alex Siegel. He just said, congrats, Braves are such a great organization. I mean, you're going to love it here. Can't wait to see you, stuff like that. But I mean, it's really cool. I've been up to the Battery and SunTrust a handful of times, got to play there my sophomore year. And I mean, just this city and that part of the city too is just, it's so fun, so cool to be at. So, I mean, obviously not going straight to Atlanta, but hopefully be there one day.
Next question comes from Patience Feach. Go ahead, Patience.
Hey, Luke, everyone knows that you were a team captain this year, but also you were a leader during your time at Georgia Tech. How will that leadership help you as you become a member of the Atlanta Braves organization?
I think, when you're getting into pro ball, it's a little more on yourself to, you know, make your way up through the organization. So I think just kind of that maturity I've learned over the last 4 years is going to help me. Being around so many guys that have now played pro ball at Tech. A lot of my good friends are playing pro ball, like McCann and Murray and CT and Tristan. So it's always good to have that, being able to talk to those guys about it with questions and stuff. And just, it's been such a good 4 years with Coach Hall and Tech. So, obviously all this leadership that I've learned or that I've been able to do at Georgia Tech has been learned from those guys who played before me. So, now that all those guys are playing pro ball, it's really, really awesome to have them and being able to reach out to them if anything, if I need help with anything, stuff like that.
Next question comes from Miles Garrett. Go ahead, Miles.
Hey, Luke, sort of a similar question to Kelly there, but what kind of convenience, or is there a convenience to, being drafted by the Braves in your backyard there at Georgia Tech? Once you get to Atlanta, ideally, obviously that'd be more of a difference, but, maybe training at Georgia Tech, is that something that you would discuss with Coach Hall?
Yeah, definitely. I know Steve in the weight room. I could reach out to him as well. I'm back in Cincinnati right now, but like you said, I know all those guys down in Atlanta, and if that's closer to things, or I decide to, move down there in the off season, Coach Hall is great with pro guys, and that new facility we got there at Tech is, really top tier in the country. And then Steve in the weight room is always there for me too. Just great. It's a great program that really treats their professional players well. So, I haven't reached out to Coach Hall about that yet, but I know if I need to do that in the future, he would love for me to come back down there and work out in the winter and for sure let me use the facilities, anything like that. So, that's just how he is. And that's part of the Georgia Tech, program is once you make pro ball, you can always come back and use the facilities. So definitely looking forward to that come, off season, winter time.
And how excited are you to work with Justin again?
Oh, you said Justin. I was like, who is Justin? I just call him Jahan. That's why it was kind of funny. But yeah, no, it was crazy. I actually knew the Braves 4th round pick too. So I was kind of talking to him, looking at my phone. Then all of a sudden Jahan gets picked too. I was like, I know a bunch of people now in this draft class. So, it's going to be awesome, playing with him this year. This was his first year, and I'd say we got pretty close over the year, just him being at third base and, on the same team. But he's great. I can't wait to see what he's going to do and play with them. And it's just really exciting for him and Brand, just all to get drafted. It's just a really exciting time for all three of us.
Next question comes from Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach.
Just knowing that you guys are going to go through the grind together, does it make it easier that you'll travel that journey with one of your college teammates?
I think so. I think, that initial, kind of shock and change it's going to be just going into pro ball. It's always great to have a couple of guys that really well that can kind of help you through the way. So I think that'll be very nice. I haven't necessarily heard from the Braves what we're doing here in the next, week or so. But it'll be really nice to, have him and coordinate, travel and, just bump and question what's going on here, what's going on there. And then once you get into, the real journey of playing pro ball and moving up and stuff like that, it'll just be cool knowing him and knowing how hard he worked in college to get where he is. So it kind of just makes it a little bit better, us playing together, and you can really see, each other's journey and how fun it's going to be to do that.
And it moves so fast, right? The communications with the big league ball club seems to be, non-existent now because obviously they're busy. But did they tell you any idea where they see you, their vision, why they draft you, etc.?
No, not yet. So I have reached. So their area scout in Georgia has reached out a couple times just to fill out a little bit of questionnaire kind of stuff, and then my agent has kind of just said, it's kind of crazy. You get picked and you expect you're going somewhere now, but with all these kind of changes with MLB right now, they don't really know like exactly what the next step is. So we're kind of just really just laying low almost. And I've been working out since school ended, so nothing's really changing there. Just kind of waiting to see where I'm headed next. But I know my agent just said, like, I mean, it'll be within the next 4 or 5 days. I'm sure he'll said I'll be somewhere doing something. So I'm looking forward to it, but I just don't exactly know what it is yet.
Next question comes from Ken Segura. Go ahead, Ken.
Luke, kind of along those same lines. I mean, do you see yourself as, I obviously can play a variety of positions. Do you see yourself, or have you heard a lot of feedback from scouts of this is where we see whether it was with the Braves or not, of kind of?
I think, you know, just being a kind of utility guy is kind of what I've always been. And obviously at Tech, I've been able to play shortstop every year since sophomore year. But, you know, I think when you get to pro ball, it's really good to be able to play different positions. And, you know, I played third base at Team USA. I've played second base here at Tech and then shortstop. So I think that's, you know, a positive for me, being able to play anywhere in the infield. And I mean, really, I could see myself anywhere in the field, honestly. So I think that's a good thing for me, positive wise. And I mean, I haven't heard position wise where they see me in the future, but I think they definitely right now see me as the guy who can really play anywhere for them. So, you know, wherever the opportunity comes, I'll be ready, and hopefully, you know, that takes me somewhere. So I think that's just a really good positive for me, being able to play all those positions.
What other than Cal Conley? I guess you know him from high school.
Yeah, so it's probably, I don't know, he didn't graduate from Loveland, but the first 3 years he went to Loveland, we played together, and then he played with Midland in summer with me all 3 years I was there, and then he's just 1 year younger than me. So yeah, he lives like 5 minutes away from me.
Wow, and I imagine Loveland's going crazy.
Yeah, we got all our like Loveland reporters always texting us. So it's been a crazy 2 days now. So
Next question comes from Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, Luke, your parents were two people you could always count on seeing at all the games at Georgia Tech. How excited are they about, you know, the outcome and you know, all, I guess, that as they watch you go through all this?
yeah, you know, I think my dad might have been a little more nervous than me come draft day, but you know, it was really exciting. I think they're thrilled. Obviously, Atlanta is a place that they know a lot, and we've been able to, you know, become friends with a lot of families down there through Tech. So, you know, being drafted by the Braves and kind of being in that southeast kind of area, whether it be like their spring training or facility sites, or all their little farm teams are kind of in that southeast, which we've become pretty comfortable with being around. So they're thrilled. I mean, obviously they would love it if I got drafted by anybody, but it just makes it a little more special that, you know, it's the Braves, and we've been in Atlanta for like 4 years straight now, and know the area, know the people. So it was really just exciting to get picked up by the Braves.
Got time for one or two more for Luke. Go to another one from Ken Segura.
Luke, you mentioned it a little bit ago, but can you kind of revisit last draft cycle, and particularly the draft day, like what your expectations were and just the level of your disappointment about not being able to be selected?
Yeah, you know, I mean, obviously I had heard from teams that, you know, you were probably going to go somewhere in the draft, and, you know, like, obviously you take that with a little bit of grain of salt because you still got to end up getting picked. But I mean, my whole family was there and we watched the whole draft, and, you know, it was just really disappointing, and, you know, it was just upsetting and emotional when it happened. But I mean, I had a lot of phone calls with a lot of people after that, and they said, you know, if you just keep your head down, keep working, it'll work out. And it was really out of my control after that. So that's really how I took it. And I mean, went back to school, obviously graduated, like I said. So, I mean, it's really worked out well for me in a way, and get picked up by now a great organization with the Braves. So, I mean, yes, very disappointing last year, but, you know, you just got to kind of get over that stuff. I couldn't control any of it. And I mean, like they say, you can't really worry about that stuff that you can't control. So, you know, it's disappointing, obviously, but, you know, I'm thrilled now to get started.
Any other questions for Luke? All right, Luke. Well, congratulations again, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
First of all, going into the draft, you look at you were ranked as the number 192 by MLB, and I think you went at 197. Is that around where you thought you were going to go? And you know, have you looked at the Tigers organization and how they work with their pitchers?
Yeah, so I mean, I tried not to pay attention, so I didn't really know that. I had no expectations of where I was going to go, which kind of eased my mind a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I looked into the Tigers a little bit. I mean, obviously, they had to pick me, and I had to pick them. So I mean, it was a good fit for me, and I think it's a good organization.
Go to a question now from Patience Feach. Go ahead, Patience.
Hey, Brant, how did your time at Georgia Tech regarding your playing career and battling injuries prepare you for your professional career at the next level?
Yeah, I think going through Tommy John's like a big mental and physical challenge. So I think like taking in that mental strength I got from that is going to be big into taking it in the minor leagues and hopefully getting to the majors.
Go now to a question from Kelly Quinlan. Go ahead, Kelly.
A lot of making it to major leagues about resiliency, and you talked about kind of having to come back from your injury and having all this time to kind of think about all of that stuff. How has that kind of prepared you for maybe the challenges of playing in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I think just that the mental strength of like, especially in the minor leagues, going on the road a lot, being away from family, just a lot of different mental challenges. And then obviously the physical of just like having to turn it up another notch and face some better competition and all that. So I think it's been a good preparation for me.
Another question from Kelly.
Do you know kind of what your timetable is now in terms of like when do you report somewhere or sign or any of those things yet?
I have no clue as of now. I think I should find out pretty soon, but yeah, as of now, I got no clue.
Another question now from Rod. Rod, you may be muted.
Hey, Brent, should we consider your pro career ready to start, or you're set on going pro?
Yes, sir. I'm pretty set on it.
Any other questions for Brant? We'll go now to Michael Doty from Marietta Daily Journal. Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, Brant. I want to take a quick look back at your high school days. You came from Woodstock, which is in Cherokee County. There were two other players that came after you in the draft. I just want to know, what does it mean to you to be the first Cherokee County player selected from this draft?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I did not know that. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Being from my hometown, growing up there, pretty cool.
Do another question now from Ken Segura. Go ahead, Ken.
Brant, what's kind of the story of how you found out that you'd been selected?
So yeah, I was just hanging out at my house, just kind of had the draft on in the background, and my advisor called me and just kind of told me the situation, said Tigers will definitely take me at this spot, and then there were a couple other options, but weren't like for sure. So I was like, Tigers a good organization. Say yes, pretty much. And so that's just how it was.
So it sounds like you weren't very nervous the whole day, or trying to avoid thinking about it too much.
Yeah, I mean, everything was out of my hands at that point. I'd done everything I could. I mean, it's kind of easy when you've kind of given it your all, and you know what happened. You know, like I know I didn't have the best season, so I wasn't expecting to go that high, but yeah, I was pretty calm about it.
And do you have any thoughts about your bonus money, what you might do with it? Do you have anything kind of earmarked already?
Nah, I'm just gonna try to save it. Maybe invest a little bit, but yeah, I'm not gonna try to blow it.
Another question now from Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, one of the ex-Georgia Tech pitchers, Buck Farmer's in the organization. Is he someone you're going to maybe reach out to and get some insight?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't have it. I know a few people at Tech still have contacts, so yeah, I could go through that, kind of get some advice from them. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Anything else for Brant? All right. Thank you very much, Brant. Congratulations again.
Thank you, guys.
Beginning with one from Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach. Zach, you may be muted.
I put money in the pot, coach. I'm fine. I apologize. You see the moment, the hard work paid off, dreams finally realized. What's it like for you? I guess a proud father as well.
No, 100%. Waddell been in our program 4 years, and this time last year he was extremely disappointed that the draft didn't go the way he would have liked to have seen it go. And so you kind of go through the disappointment of seeing him disappointed. On the other end, I was excited that we'd get him back for his senior year because we didn't anticipate that, but came back, had a great year. To see him then, get drafted and have it be the Atlanta Braves. I mean, I was sitting in my office, actually got cold chills when I saw that he got picked by the Braves. And then we ended up getting him on a FaceTime call. Reed Farron, who's, one of the guys that kind of works in the total person program here at Tech, was in my office. My cell phone was actually out of pocket because I was switching phones. So I used Reed Farron's cell phone to get FaceTime with Waddell. And so he pops up on the call and he's got an Atlanta Braves jersey on. And that just kind of gave me chills, honestly, just to see how excited he was to get drafted by the Braves. And so it was just a perfect storm.
Go now to a question from Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, Danny, naturally the recruiting class is a big part of the draft for you guys, and naturally you lost your top guy who went in the first round, but you also lost 3 starting infielders from this year's team. How important was it for you to get a guy like Campbell through the draft who will probably contend for one of those jobs?
No, it's always important. You want to try to get all your recruits, and obviously lost Harry Ford, but we kind of anticipated that. Harry played so good last summer on the summer circuit, and I think someone told me that he's the highest drafted high school catcher since Joe Mauer. So he's in pretty select company there. So kind of anticipated we would lose him, but you're right. We're losing all 3 infielders, and we got some freshmen coming in, and but there's going to be a lot of open spots, open competition to see who's going to play third, short, and second next year. The other guy, and Zach asked me this question about Malloy. Here's a guy that wasn't getting to play a lot at Vanderbilt, but wanted that opportunity, and came here and just fit right into our culture, worked extremely hard, great competitor, had a great year for us. And then he got rewarded also by getting drafted by the Braves. So, we're losing 3 really good players and 3 really good infielders. And, I'll say it about Austin Wilhite, just one of the best defenders that we've probably had here, just steady as all get out. And so we do have some work to do to figure out who's going to play in those infield spots. But, getting a guy like Christian Campbell through the draft, that's a big plus.
Go to a question now from Kelly Quinlan. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, Danny, I was curious, with the Braves taking 2 of your guys, I guess, is that kind of helpful just in terms of the program and having guys that are in the organization that's in your town, just in terms of recruiting and helping your players now kind of see what can happen to them if they, do well playing for you?
Yeah, I think 100%. I've always said it that, the boom in high school baseball in our state, the boom probably throughout the Southeast. I think that all started way back in the day with the Atlanta Braves being on TBS, and you could always turn the TV on. Didn't matter where you lived in the United States, you could turn the TV on, see the Atlanta Braves playing. And I think that just creates a lot of interest in baseball. And, for us, we're right down the road from them. We're going to root for them. Our players see them. They're going to root for them. And so just to, see that 2 of the guys are entering that organization, you hope they go in there and play well and perform well. And I told both of them, I'm hoping I get the opportunity to go to Truist Park and watch them play in the game.
Go now to a question from Patience Veach. Go ahead, Patience.
Hey, Coach, I just want to ask you, what are your thoughts on these three great players as they enter this next stage in their lives?
Oh, you're just proud of them. You know, these guys put a lot of hard work in here, you know, at Tech to get into that position. You know, Brant Herter definitely had, you know, had a major setback with Tommy John surgery, so missed a whole year. So to get him drafted, getting back, you know, pitching obviously on Friday nights for us this year. You know, I'm just proud of all three. And honestly, all three of those guys are really good students here. And, you know, Luke has been pretty well decorated as a student athlete here. And, you know, Malloy came in here, made great grades, you know, this year. And Brant Herter, I think, has just about been a Dean's List student every semester since he's been here. So these guys are, you know, doing a lot of the right things and, you know, living their life the right way and just being good stewards of the program.
Go now to a question from Ken Segura. Go ahead, Ken.
Hey, Danny, I was wondering, and I guess I'm specifically thinking of Austin here. Is there anyone that could have a chance to sign an undrafted free agent contract and keep playing?
Maybe I haven't talked to Andy Archer, but, you know, maybe Andy Archer. It kind of got explained to me yesterday. These undrafted free agent contracts are pretty tricky in that, if I understand it right, if a guy signs as an undrafted free agent, the team that signs him has to put him on a roster, and with less opportunities for players, number one, because they've cut out a lot of the minor league teams. It would have to be a team that has a specific need for a position to add that guy to a roster. And they don't have to do that with their draft picks. Like, they could have a draft pick and just kind of, you know, hold them in their spring training site and just work them out. And then start them playing next year. But if you're an undrafted free agent, the way it was explained to me, they have to put you on a roster immediately.
Go now to a question from Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, Danny, naturally with Herter going now, and of course, you just talked about Archer, you have a couple of spots open in that weekend rotation. It just relies on more importance on how you're able to recruit and how kids look at what's going on with the draft. What do you see from guys like Daniels and McGuire? Will they be a couple of guys that could contend for those jobs?
I think McGuire for sure. Carter Daniels had Tommy John surgery, so he will be out the entire year next year. But you know, Logan McGuire obviously, you know, pitches in a really good program. You know, pitches against really good competition, and you know, he did really well last year. But we feel like we have a good recruiting class coming in here, and it was pitching heavy, anticipating that we were going to you know, lose some pitching. But, you know, we also think that, you know, some of our guys that we have in the program are going to get better. And, you know, and one of the guys we haven't talked about that we kind of anticipated we would lose, we didn't lose him, is Luke Bartnicki. And, you know, we've used him a lot in 3 years. And so to get somebody with his experience, and I still think, you know, there's a major upside to Luke Bartnicki that we just haven't quite tapped into and uncovered yet. So we'll have a good plan for him moving forward into this year. And, you know, I hope he's like a Waddell in that, you know, came back for your senior year. It didn't go exactly the way you wanted your junior year in the draft, but kind of use it as a motivation to put yourself in a way better position next year than you were in this year. So, you know, Maxwell's thrown in the Cape, Grissom's been in the Cape, Dalton Smith's in the Cape. So, you know, we have some guys that we have counted on, you know, to pitch innings for us and do things, but that, you know, much like the infield, the starting rotation will be wide open.
Another question from Rod.
Yeah, you just talked about the Cape. How closely do you follow your guys in the summer, and do you see any of those guys maybe taking the next step that you're looking for?
Oh, I follow it all. And, it's a great thing. You can look at box scores every night or first thing in the morning. And, we do have some guys in the Cape. We got a lot of guys in the New England Collegiate League and got guys scattered in, a couple different leagues. But, I think all those guys, it's important for a position player to get at bats, to get some defensive work. It's important for some of the pitchers to get some innings. Just so that they can gain some experience in live games. But no, I watch it all. And, obviously Parada is in with the USA team right now. But yeah, I want to pay close attention to it. And, it seems like they're all getting good opportunities to play and grow as players, and that will only help them moving forward.
Got time for a couple more for Coach Hall. We'll go to one now from Patience Feach. Go ahead, Patience.
Hey, Coach, this is probably a random question, but will Jackson Finley be able to return next season?
Yeah, he's we got a little summer camp going on, so he's been working all my summer camps. He's going through all his rehab protocols, and he's been a two-way guy for us. So I think probably initially in February and March, and maybe even part of April, he may be able to help us as a hitter. Then I think probably you'd look at May possibly of him getting back in and helping us on the mound. But we'll just see. We'll have to see how his, all his rehab goes, how his throwing program and protocols go. But yeah, he'll be, he'll be a factor one way or another, whether it's just as a hitter or, hopefully everything goes good. And maybe, when we're trying to make a hard push in May, that, he can become part of our pitching staff in May.
Another question from Rod. Go ahead.
Yeah, Danny, moving the draft back to July, does that make your roster management a little more difficult in how you approach everything?
Yeah, if I look tired today, it's for good reason. Yeah, I don't like where the draft is, and I just think it puts a lot of I don't want to use the word pressure on a head baseball coach at Power 5 Division I school, but there's just so many moving parts that you got to kind of jump through some hoops with scholarships, with roster spots, and the draft is kind of unpredictable. So, a good example would just be Waddell last year that, he didn't go. We were anticipating him going. Now he's going to be back. So you got to try to figure his scholarship out so that, he's not paying $51,000 out of state to come here and go to school. So there's a kind of a domino effect, like, when stuff like that happens. And this year, with it being in July, we have to renew all of our scholarships by July 1st. So, it's a crapshoot on who you're renewing, who you're not renewing, particularly with your upperclassmen. And then now the draft hits, and now you got to deal with any aftermath of the draft. And quite honestly, this is a busy time for us. We're recruiting left and right, and you got camps going on. So there's a lot of moving pieces this time of year, but you're trying to put together the best roster that you can put together heading into fall baseball to, try to win an ACC title and get in the regionals and figure out a way to get to Omaha.
We'll go now to a question from Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach.
Danny, big picture, do you think the NIL will keep more guys in school longer?
Zach, that's a great question. Like I probably don't have my head around the NIL as much as I need to, but I'd say it like this. So, and I don't have the exact number. So someone just threw it out that when you look at all 20 rounds, it just went down, that I think it was 80% of the guys drafted in this year's draft were college players. So I think pro baseball recognizes that college baseball does a great job of developing players for them. And, and I realize there's high school guys, Harry Ford, example A of a guy that's, instant millionaire, and a first rounder, and a lot of high school kids were taken in the first round this year. But I think statistics prove that let a guy go to college, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, he becomes draft eligible. Now you put him out into pro baseball at 21, and college coaches have done a great job of developing their players. There's just probably less mistakes, but I think those guys are better prepared to go in and compete and figure out a way to get up there and play. And I think pro baseball is aware of that. They may not admit it, but I think that, there's a lot of smart people in pro baseball now, and, they have all the analytics and the data that they need. And I think we've recognized it for quite a while, just how valuable college is to developing players. And we take a lot of pride in it. And I think, on the pro side now, you're seeing that. And, I'll just say it. One of our guys was here today, Joey Bart. He's in here, all-star break. He just got called up before the break. So he texted me yesterday. I didn't even realize he was home. And he's like, hey, do you mind if I come down and catch Alex Wood in a bullpen? So both of them with the Giants. Alex Wood was back here. And so at 11:30 today, they were out here with 100 campers surrounding them and signing autographs. And Alex Wood was, throwing his pen. But 2 years ago, Joey Bart was just going through the draft. And, he was up in the big leagues last year. He's up this year. And I just think that college baseball does a great job of developing and preparing players for Major League Baseball.
Anything else for Coach Hall? All right, Coach, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Andrew. Everybody have a good summer. Good to see you.
Thank you, Danny.
Good, Danny.
Good to see you.
Thanks, everyone.